thumbs up though, because that helps me out more than you guys think. Oh my god. Why? What's goody YouTube? It's your boy Pink Shady back with another video. As you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about the new Scream movie.
Hello?
Sid, it's happening. 3 attacks so far.
Well,
Whatever his link is to our past, it ends here. I've seen this movie before.
not this movie, Sydney.
Scream. Rated R.
Before we get into our discussion, if this is your first time seeing me, hey, what's up? I'm Bailey, aka Pink Shady, and on this channel we do reactions, vlogs, lifestyles, and a whole bunch of shit. I post new videos every week, so it'd mean a lot to me if you guys could consider subscribing while you guys are watching the video. If you're not sold on subscribing to the channel yet, that's okay. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up though, because that helps me out more than you guys think. And if you guys are really fucking with me, go ahead and follow me on all my social media down below, especially my Twitter and my Instagram, because that's where I will be the most active. Now I'm gonna shut the fuck up and we're gonna talk about Scream. I want to give you guys a little backstory on like my relationship with the Scream franchise before I dive deep into this video, because I want you to understand where my love comes from. Let's take a flashback back to probably like 7th grade Pink Shady, 7th grade Bailey. I was terrified of horror movies, scared as fuck, but my stepmom convinced me to watch a scary movie with her and my dad. And it was Scream. When I tell you, I was actually petrified of the original Scream. Like the whole opening scene of the original Scream, like my anxiety was like through the fucking roof, okay? It was my first horror movie, mind you. And I was shook. I was fucking shook. By the end of the original Scream, I had fallen in love with horror movies, with the slasher genre, with being scared, with the anxiety of it all, that I went the next day to my local like movie shop and I bought the whole trilogy. I was like, I gotta see where like the other two go. Like I have to know. Now let's flash a little bit forward to 2011 when they released Scream 4. I was so geeked. I said, no fucking way. I get to see Ghostface up on the big screen. What's good? I was so hyped. I told you guys all of that because I love Scream. I love the franchise. I love Neve Campbell. I love Ghostface. I love everything about Scream. Wes Craven is the director of the first 4 Scream movies. I live in Ohio. He's from Cleveland, Ohio, so that made me love it even more. And also, Wes Craven is a fucking horror mastermind. He has some amazing movies. So that's a little backstory on like my history with Scream and like why I love these movies so much and like where this passion is going to come from that you will see throughout this video. So yeah, I wanted you guys just to have a little backstory. This is now the part of the video that will be 110% spoiler free. So if you have not seen the movie, it is okay to stay. In this new movie, there's a new group of kids that is being attacked by Ghostface, and Sydney, Dewey, and Gail. They're there because y'all saw them in the trailer. They're there, but they kind of play like a background character almost, like they're like side characters a little bit. But that's okay because these new characters, they were giving.
The flavor, oh my god, it's so real. Like,
I don't know who directed this movie, but they did an amazing job. A lot of these shots are like cinematic shots, and I was eating it up. I was eating it up. It's horror, and like that's so cool to see in a horror movie, like these very cool cinematic shots. Like, I loved it. The music. Let's talk about the music for a second. The music though. The music was fucking fantastic, and especially because they used some of the music from the original movie. It was everything. It was amazing to see the legacy characters back on screen again. It's been 10 years since I saw Sydney, Dewey, and Gail up on the big screen, so to see them again, it was really fucking cool. I'm pretty sure that that's all I can say about the movie that's like not spoilers. But overall, let me just tell you this. For the people that have not seen the movie yet, because you're about to want to click off this video because now we're going to get into the spoilers here in a second. But for the people that have not seen this video or not seen this movie, it's fucking great. It is literally one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. It's definitely one of the best like sequels ever done, in my opinion. So stop watching this video, go buy your ticket, and just fucking go see the movie, okay? We're shifting gears now. We're shifting them, and we're gonna go into the spoiler part of the video. So if you have not seen the movie, like I said, click out of this video now, go buy your tickets, and then come back to this video, all right? But now let's get into the spoilers, because I have a lot to talk about. I have so much to talk about. So prior to me going to see this movie, I was having a conversation with my sister like Thursday night, and I told her, I said, they're going to kill off one of the legacy characters. Like, they will kill one of them off. Only because what other horror franchise has 3 surviving victims for 4 movies? What horror franchise is doing that? None. Taking into consideration that this is now the 5th movie, I just felt something in my heart that we're killing off one of the legacy characters. And boy, did we kill off a legacy character. My boy, Dewey Dubert, he finally died at the hands of Ghostface. And when I say finally, I don't mean like I'm happy. I'm just saying like Dewey has been stabbed quite a few times over the 4 movies by Ghostface, and he still was alive. He was still kicking and fighting. But his fight was over this time. His fight was over this time. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I cried. When Dewey died, I cried. And especially like when Gail was seeing his body like being wheeled out in the body bag, I lost it. I fucking lost it.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Going back to my little backstory, I did mention that I watched the original Scream back in like 7th grade. So I have been with these characters. They have been a part of my life since I was in 7th grade. So I kind of feel like in a sense I grew up with them because I'm 24 now. So to see Dewey die, and especially they just didn't kill him. Like Ghostface was fucking him up. I'm not even gonna cap. Ghostface was fucking up Dewey. But they didn't have to do it all like that. They didn't have to make it like extra and like messy. Like they could have just killed him, you know. But may Dewey rest in peace, you know. But yeah, no. That fucked me up. That fucked me up a little bit. I am not going to sit here and talk about every new character that was brought into the movie. They all did an amazing job though. Like every actor that was portraying these characters, and even just the characters themselves, they were very well written, and the actors did an amazing job. But there is one in particular that I do want to talk about, and that's my bitch Samantha. Samantha is basically like the new Sydney, and the twist of her and like how she's a part of this and why Ghostface is coming after her, her sister, and her sister's friends. I was not prepared for her to be Billy's daughter. I was not prepared at all for this bitch to be Billy's daughter. None.
Huh? No.
I do think having her be Billy's daughter, though, did have a cooler element to it for some reason. I don't know, and it made Samantha feel more badass to me. If they were to continue to make a Scream 6 or 7 with Samantha being like the new Sydney, I would be okay with that because I fucked with Samantha as a character. Like, that's a bad bitch, all right? She can stand next to Sydney because there's not a lot of final girls that can stand next to Sydney, and fucking Samantha can stand next to Sydney and do it well. I also thought the girl who played Samantha did Samantha very, very well. When Samantha is killing her boyfriend who ended up being one of the faces, like the look in her eye, like the look of evil, like that bitch was acting. She was acting her ass off. She said, I'm going to get that check per.
Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check. I was an employee and I was going to get Employee of the Month and nothing, period.
But overall, the new cast was fucking perfect. I mean, the opening victim from like the opening scene, she didn't die this time. She survived. And a lot more of these kids survived than like the first 4 Scream movies. So like these kids, they got a lot of fight in them. And I appreciate that. It was really cool to see instead of watching them like all die and everything. It was a different take on Scream and Ghostface to have some of these victims actually survive. Samantha was Billy's daughter, and then there was 2 other characters, like they were twins, and they were Randy's like niece and nephew. I enjoyed that. Then you had Judy Hicks, you know, from the fourth movie, like the deputy or whatever. Her son was a part of this one too. And for some reason, I liked that. I liked seeing like Billy's daughter and, you know, like Randy's niece and nephew and then Judy. I liked that there was family amongst like this new group. Like there was legacy characters. And these are like the offspring or like these are the family members of legacy characters. I thought that was really cool. And now I want to shift gears and I want to talk about Ghostface. The two people that were Ghostface in this movie, they were not fucking playing with these people. Like they really were not. Like some of these deaths were probably the most brutal that I have ever seen in a Scream movie. I mean, one of the Ghostface, like he literally killed Judy Hicks in her front lawn in broad daylight. And he didn't just stab her and then like run away. No, this man was like, he was stabbing the fuck out of her. Broad daylight, front yard, you know, what the fuck? And that's how a lot of these kills were. They were just so brutal, like with like the stabbing and everything. You know, he was stabbing people in their fucking necks and everything like that. And then you had Samantha who stabbed one of the Ghostface, like literally through the cheeks, like through the fucking cheeks. Like these scenes, like these death scenes and like these kills were probably the best out of the whole entire franchise. I also really love how self-aware the Scream franchise has always been. Like they're always, you know, like talking in like as if what they're going through is like an actual horror movie, but like technically it is. But you know what I mean? Like they're just so self-aware with like all the rules and how like each new movie had pretty much like new rules because, well, for the first movie and the fourth and the fifth, it's a whole new generation of horror movies and of kids and how things work in horror movies. And I just love how self-aware they are about all of that. In the Scream universe, the movies based off of what happened to like Sydney and her friends is called Stab. And there's like a whole franchise of Stab movies. And they made a comment in this movie about how like the Stab movies, how like they mean something to people because like a lot of people, those were like their first horror movies, you know, they have family connections with them. And I really resonated with that because like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, Scream was introduced to me by my family. It was introduced to me by my stepmom and I watched it with my first time with her and my dad. And now it's just kind of become a thing. Like me, her, and my sister, like we love these movies. We talk about them. Words are hard. We rewatch them together and it's just great. Like it really gave me, it's just a bond that we have with these movies. And like, again, that goes back to like how self-aware these movies are, that like they're so self-aware that like with that being like with them saying that line, they're referencing Stab, but realistically the people sitting in that theater, they felt that way about the OG Scream from the 90s. And I loved it. I loved it. Now, probably the coolest part about this movie for me personally was we went back to Stu's house. In the original, that's where like the climax scene was, at Stu's house, you know, like when Billy and Stu revealed themselves as Ghostface to Sydney and everything was in Stu's house. And the fact that we got to go back there and have like this climactic scene there. And let me tell you, this climactic scene was probably the most climactic out of the whole entire franchise. Sydney and Gail and Sydney, after 5 fucking times, these bitches really had enough, okay? They threw a bitch over a fucking island and then they set her on fire with the stove. Like, Sydney and Gail, they were fucking ruthless in this movie and I was eating it up. I had chills watching Sydney like walk back into Stu's house because I'm just like, oh shit, like, what's gonna happen? Because it was really like a full circle moment. Like, and even just how like they ended the movie, it was the literal exact same way that they ended the first film, except the reporter was not Gail, it was a different reporter. But like everything was just such a full circle moment with like how the climax scene was in this movie. And it warmed my heart. It really did. The cinema has really been feeding Pink Shady this like the past couple months. You know, I got to see my Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, back on the big screen again with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. That was just fucking epic. And now I got to go see Scream, and we're taking Sydney and Gail back to fucking Stu's house where everything first started. I'm living, guys. Like I'm full. I'm fed. I was fed well. Like I don't know. I couldn't ask for anything better, honestly. My final thoughts on this movie is basically like this was a perfect sequel. It's the best Scream sequel out of all of them. And I also think that this should teach movie studios about how to do like reboots or like requels and stuff. Because I even think that Scream 5 or just Scream, whatever you want to call it, I think it might even surpass like the current Halloween movies that we have. Because there's just something about this movie that just everything about it is perfect. And I can see why when Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox and David Arquette, when they said that they read the script and like that's what made them agree to do this movie, was that Wes Craven would have been happy with this script. And I don't even know these people in real life, and I fully believe that Wes would have been so content with this script, so content, because it was everything about this movie, down to the music, the sequences, like everything was just perfect. If you're a horror movie fan, if you're a Scream fan, Neve Campbell fan, whatever, stop what you're doing, go buy your ticket, and just go and enjoy this movie, because you'll have a fucking blast, and it's well worth it. This movie's amazing. All right, friends, it's about time for me to wrap up this video. So I want you, if you have seen the movie, please like sound off in the comments and like talk to me. Like, let's have a conversation about the movie. Like, talk to me in the comments. But if you're going to do that, make sure you put like a little spoiler warning or something like before like your actual comment, just for the people that might have not seen it, that go straight to the comments, because I know I'd be doing that with certain videos. Like, I just go look at the comments while I'm watching the video. So just make sure you're putting something that you're about to talk about a spoiler, so somebody doesn't get spoiled. If you enjoyed this video, guys, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, because it helps me out more than you think. And I hope that you guys have hit the subscribe button, because I post new videos every week. And if you're not sold on me yet, that's okay. Still go hit that like button, please, and thank you. Follow me on all of my social media down below, especially my Instagram and my Twitter, because that's where I'm the most active. And until the next video, guys, deuces.